Hello everyone, this is Andra and today we are going to make watercolor card. So let's get right to it. First of all, I'm going to take clear gesso to cover my card base with the gesso. This will prevent my colors soak into the paper and I can move around and play around with my watercolors on top of my card without ruining the paper. Because this is regular 300-gram paper, it's not watercolor paper. I always recommend to use clear gesso if you are going to play around on regular paper with wet mediums. I will now dry the gesso with my heat gun, and gesso always dries really quick, so sometimes you don't even have to use the heat gun to do it. Now let's bring out the watercolors and prepare the background for our card. I am using watercolors by 13 Arts and they have a nice selection of 16 color palettes. I have recently made watercolor palette for myself using their 16 color palettes, so you can see how many colors you can actually get, and there's more than that. I'm starting off by spraying some water on top of my palette to soften up the color. I always recommend to use 2 water bowls if you are coloring with watercolors or acrylics. So with this method you will dip the dirty brush into the one bowl first and then to the second one, and the second one stays cleaner a long time. You don't have to run back and forth to the sink to change the water. So this is my regular card base, 300 grams, which I covered with gesso before, which now allows me to add as much water as I want on top of it. And from here I'm just going to let you watch the process of coloring the background. Now I'm going to use the text stamp from 13 Arts. I believe it's collection Unforgettable. It's really amazing, check it out. I'm going to use this set, and I always leave the clear acetate behind the stamp itself because it will make it firmer, and I don't use with this style, with mixed media style, I never use the acrylic block to stamp. I just use it like that. And yeah, this acetate will keep it stiffer. Now, as you can see, I'm using the same watercolor for the stamping. I'm not using any dye inks or anything. The watercolor will be just fine for this style, and I think it will look quite amazing. I will stamp here and there, no order, no whatsoever. And as you can see, this watercolor stamping is great. I think it looks fabulous. Here I have 6 pieces, 5 by 5 centimeters. that I'm going to color in with a watercolor as well, with a kissing technique. For this I'm not using my regular card, I'm using actual watercolor, so there is no need to cover it up with a gesso first. But of course, if you want, you can always do that. Or if you want to build up 2 layers, you can wait for this to dry or dry them with a heat gun, and then add the gesso layer to add another layer of color on top of that. Here I'm showing you some flowers that I'm also planning to do a video. These are all colored in with watercolors, with the same watercolors actually. I'm now going to do the same watercolor stamping on top of those 5x5 little squares. Again, I'm using the heat gun to dry them. Now I'm building a frame for those 5x5 squares using regular 300-gram cardboard, 5.4 by 5.4 centimeters. I will put those squares on top of our background card base, and I would like to have some dimension. So for that I'm using gray cardboard, or this, I think this is how you call this, but you can use any cardboard, any from boxes, or really anything you have, just to give them a little bit of dimension. And I will show you how I do this right now. Easy as that. Now let's move to the next part. We will need some flowers. You can use any flowers, any stamps that you want. Make sure the flowers have just the outlines for that technique, because we are going to heat emboss them, and then we will color them in. So here you can see I'm using my Tim Holtz tonic stamp buddy. I really love this tonic stamping buddy. I couldn't stamp without that anymore. This is awesome. I will heat emboss the stamped images with using white embossing powder and Versamark. I used Versamark to stamp this. After heat embossing, we will color in those flowers using watercolors again. This is a brilliant technique, and you don't have to be an artist to do that. Anyone can do that, really. First, I will fill in the lines with water, and then I'm just starting to add the colors. Just slightly tapping the colors here and there. No actual painting going on. It's just, as you can see, I'll just tap the colors here and there, sometimes adding more water, just playing around with the colors. And I will do exactly like that with all my embossed flowers. I'll just let you watch the process from now on. Now here we have all the components for the card, and I will glue down those squares just like that, so you can see how nice that looks like that. They're all, you know, the same color theme, but they're all different. That's what I love about watercolors. You can never actually control like 100%. You cannot control how they play around or what's going on. And yeah, I really love this kind of backgrounds. So I'm just laying them on top of my background, and you will see how nice this dimension is right now. And again, I'm using the same 300 grams cardstock, and I'm gluing it on top of the kraft card, just to give our background, nice background image, a little white border to frame the image. I'm gonna glue it down real quick. Now finally, let's start building the cards and make some nice arrangements on top of the card. This will be a really dimensional. I'm using my hot glue. Normally I would use gel medium to glue everything down, but the sake for this video I was using the hot glue. And again, I'm using those cardboard pieces to give more dimension to the card. I'm going to glue those to the back of my flowers, and you can, you know, choose any height or any, you know, thickness of a cardboard that you would like. I'm using 1, 2 and 3 millimeter cardboards, and sometimes I even glue them together to get like, you know, 5 or 6 millimeter. It will depend how much of a height would you like to have to the card. Okay, but from now on I'm just making arrangements and putting those bits and pieces here and there. So I will let you watch the process and talk to you later. almost done here, and I will add a little bit of sparkle with adding some sequins. I really love using sequins. I think you will see those on almost on top of every my work. I will add the sentiment, and it says birthday wishes, and a little bit of white splatter here and there, and we are done. This card is finished. I love how dimensional it is. I love it. I hope you like it too, and I hope you find it inspirational. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe. And you can always also visit my Instagram to see my other works. Yeah, that's it. I hope you have a nice day or evening wherever you are, and we'll talk to you and see you soon. Bye bye.